A Conversation with John Conenna is sponsored in part by the original Montell and Son, serving the Chicagoland area since 1947. The family that has taken pride in offering Italian sausages to many of their loyal customers over the years, and which have expanded a product line to their top-rated submarine sandwiches, hot foods, sauces, pastas, and a full catering menu. The store has passed on from grandfather to son, but has kept with the traditions of offering excellent quality at a great value using the finest ingredients and excellent service. Discover the difference at the original Montell and Son, 7652 West Belmont Avenue. And don't forget, it's their only location. And now, on to our episode. Good evening and welcome to A Conversation with John Conenna. Tonight, it brings me great pleasure to have on one of the great Chicago vocalists of our time here in Chicago, a award-winning Leonardo da Vinci winner for Outstanding Achievement in Performance and Arts in 2011. And she was also honored in 2017, recipient of the Joseph Cardinal Bernardine Award, Humanitarian Award in Entertainment. It brings me great pleasure to bring on the true diva of Chicago, Diva Montell. What is going on with you, young lady? Good to see you.
So nice to see you. Oh my goodness, it's been too long.
Yes,
it's wonderful to be with you.
Long. You know, Diva, I got to tell you before we tell our audience, we really didn't know each other that well back then, but I remember first seeing you dancing at the old 1-2-3 disco on Diversity and Central.
That is so funny that you should say that, because a few people recently have kind of resurfaced in my life, and they've brought back the 1-2-3. So it's wow, Peter must be coming back to us. Peter D'Agostino. Remember that? Oh my God.
Good times, good era. But
it really was.
I could tell back then that you were going to be this great entertainer. So
thank you so much.
I got to ask you, from doing the research on you and knowing a little bit about you, it looks like your parents could have had a really big impact on you. Your dad. Now you have. I want you to know, young lady, you have a beautiful name. It's Diva Montell.
See.
Yeah, see. So, but again, your name, Diva Montell. Your dad and your mom was actually an opera singer, correct?
Was, yes. She, my mother was with the Apollo Opera, and then I think it became the Mid-City Choir as well. And they just had an affinity for music, and that is how my name came to be, because my father had a friend that actually wrote music for my father, and they actually created a record company by the name of Diva Label Records. And so that's how my name came to be. And mom was an opera singer, but then had 4 children. So of course, just left the opera, but was a cantor for St. John Cantius, Our Lady of Pompeii, Santa Maria Dolorata.
Oh, sure.
So many. Oh yeah, she stayed with it and kept her voice just absolutely gorgeous. And she was probably the greatest influence in my life as far as music.
And Dad, was he more of the singer?
Dad actually made a living at it.
Oh, he did.
Oh, he did. Yeah.
And this was Freddie. By the way, what was mom's name again? First name?
Concetta.
Concetta
Ferreri.
And is that of Sicilian descent?
Actually, mom was from a small town. I don't even know which town, but in Florence.
Oh, in Firenze, up north.
In Firenze. And my father was from Sicily, in Palermo.
In Palermo Città. Okay, beautiful.
Yeah.
So that is some. Did they meet here in the States? Wow. So that's something. Yeah. So when's that first recollection for you? Like, when does it kick in for you? Meaning, okay, you had these entertaining parents. Now, when does this diva say, I kind of like this. I want to take a shot at it.
Oh my gosh, on all my life. I mean, really, from the time that I can remember way back, I was absolutely, my dad was just, he would come home and I would have tea waiting for him. I'm probably 4 years old and I would want
Wow.
to hear about his gigs. I would want to know how it went. And I would sit with him and he'd say, hey, honey, it's 12 o'clock, it's past your bedtime. You need to go to sleep. But I'd be like, Dad, please wait, tell me more. And I loved hearing about his evening and what took place, and just he was such a charismatic man. He was just very just a wonderful entertainer, tons of friends. Our house, I was brought there on Ohio Street. It was Ohio and May.
Sure. A lot of Italians.
Oh yeah. And it was just forever, every single day. Either mom had her friends over at the piano and they were rehearsing for whatever was coming up at the church, or dad, certain designated nights, he would have his Sounds Tropicana or his trio or whatever, but constantly music. And then of course my sister would be dancing and I'd be dancing, and of course we were just dancing around all of the music. So
Sure.
it really it was absolutely wonderful. And of course we lived in a it was an 8 kind of apartment, 4-story tenement building that my grandmother owned.
Yeah. Yeah. Like those
So
in-law building. Sure.
oh yeah. So grandma was on the 3rd floor. We were on the 2nd. Grandma's sister was on the 1st. Somebody else was on the 4th. I mean, it was just one big happy family. Unfortunately, those days, I mean, it's so rare now,
Yeah. And you know what, Steve, you bring it up, you give me goosebumps, because again, it's that era that you go and tell your kids or another family member now that might be a niece or a nephew, and they look at you like, what? Yeah. And now we long for that.
We do. I
We
know.
long.
My daughter does,
Yeah.
whenever we can have a family pasta day, she's like, oh, mom, is uncle and auntie and everybody going to come over? Because, and then of course, when we do get together, there's always music. Always, Yeah.
Our mom and dad still around with us.
No.
They're not. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
but what a boy, I'll tell you, I could see the passion in your eyes just talking about this,
Absolutely. Well, I was singing with my mother, she would be, my mother would just love to sing all of the opera, beautiful arias while she was cleaning.
Sure.
And so I would sing along with mom, and one in particular time where I came out at 6 years old and actually sang Mama's aria. And
Wow.
I was able to sing opera, at that time. So
Sure.
at 6.
That's a big thing. Well,
Yeah.
let me ask you, because thank you, because you're making this really easy from here tonight. This when do you kind of, you have this passion and this desire? Did you start taking lessons right away?
I did. As a matter of fact, mom and dad had a piano, and there was a teacher that came in and wanted me actually to learn how to play the piano first so that I could read music,
Music.
Yeah. And so, but I was so nervous. I was so afraid, John. It
Yeah.
drove my mother crazy. She would say, Diva, until you have your own children, you're never going to understand how I feel. I know that you have the ability to do this. Why won't you do it? Why? And I wouldn't do it. And I will tell you a very funny story.
Go ahead.
Was years of just, no, I have a sore throat. No, I can't do it. No, I can't do it. And I went through, grade school where I was in the choir, and I was always the loudest person in the choir to belt out. And the teacher would come to me and say, come on, we want you to try out, audition for the lead role. And I couldn't do it. It was terrible. So then it wasn't until my 8th grade he was kind of the choir teacher, and he said to me, Diva, with a name like Diva, you're either going to be the wife of a very famous pizza maker or a great opera singer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And he ended up being the judge for Who's Who in Music that actually launched me on a scholarship to DePaul University School of Music.
See that? Yes. Yeah. DePaul, beautiful school, great school.
Yeah.
Diva, did that spark you? Was that you think that was the beginning turning point?
I think so. I think it came to the point where I just said, why am I doing this to myself? I'm just going to start. Who's judging, and all through the 4 years of high school, it was just heavenly. I mean, I pretty much sang all through high school. all the leads and really nearly all the leads in the plays. You know, we did a huge recording with the madrigal choir. The teachers were just so they really inspired me, and it was a great time. I
Oh,
really
sure.
enjoyed it. Yeah, yeah. There's nothing like those years, you know, to really
Sure.
give you the foundation,
Oh yeah,
you
and
know.
you know you're remembering, and the way you're telling me, you're remembering it like it was yesterday.
I did. I did.
Incredible. Did you sing for your high school and stuff like that, or
I
did you?
did. I
Yeah,
did. I sang for every occasion that there was. I mean, in my high school, my graduating class was 1,243 people. And at all those 5,000 people, you know, at once, and we would go into the assembly hall, and I
sure.
would do all of the national anthems, and I would do, you know, the big, you know, solos at the Christmas events and everything. I was always front and center.
Right.
And, you know, my parents just absolutely, it was heavenly for them, you
Oh,
know,
sure.
at that
I mean,
time.
knowing I know they're not here now, but I mean, I can imagine how proud they were because my dad kept telling me for years, you got to learn that second language, Italian.
Yeah.
Of course,
Oh,
I didn't have your talent with the singing. He said to me, you got to learn this because our business is something that you need to have this. You will
yeah.
thank me when I'm gone. And
Yeah.
I forced myself and got it done, but
Yeah.
just it reminds me the way you're bringing it up.
Yeah.
Um, when was it in high school or was it at DePaul where you said, I got this passion for it. I saw you personally. You could dance. So now you got this all going on. The voice, the singing, the presence. Okay, the
Yeah.
presence. When did you know you said, hey, okay, I want to do this. I want to do
Yeah.
this. I want to become that entertainer, Diva Montell.
Well, John, it's interesting because it's kind of a different story.
Okay.
My teacher only had three students. Frank Little was his name, and he wound up leaving DePaul University to go to the Metropolitan downtown in New York.
Oh, wow.
And he sent me along to a phenomenal coach called Eileen Deneen at the American Conservatory of Music. And so I went to study with Eileen. She introduced me to Pavarotti, Placido Domingo. I mean, I was really getting
Wow.
launched in that area. And really what happened was I started to really study the opera singers, and Renata Tebaldi was somebody that I really emulated vocally. She was right from Rome and just had the most spectacular voice, but she never had a life. She lived for opera, you
Uh-huh.
know, and coming from such a varied background of music, my father being more of a stylist like a Vic Damone, Tony Martin, that sort of thing.
Right. Singer.
I loved that kind of music, and I loved to sing it.
Sure.
And my father would always say, sing anything, just sing, just sing. And my mother would say, no, stay with the opera. So I started to get into more theater, and, you know, I was being told, not so much by Eileen Deneen, but many of the other, you know, coaches, that you really need to hone in on opera, really focus on the opera. And to be honest with you, I don't think I loved it enough
Okay.
to have to live and breathe it the way that you do as an opera singer. You really do have to buckle down. You have to know how to speak French, German, sometimes Spanish, Italian, learn how to play the violin. I mean, just all these different types of things
Sure.
that, of course,
Sure.
you know, being with the American Conservatory it just was so much. And I was young. So I kind of rejected it.
Right.
And I did. And my mother was heartbroken. She
Oh, I
truly
can imagine.
was. Yeah,
Especially her being the ex-opera singer. Sure.
absolutely. So I went back home, and I told my parents, I just did not want a career in opera. but Dad said, well, do you still want to sing? And I said, Dad, definitely, definitely.
Right,
So
right.
I did study opera with a private teacher, and I did vocally take, with coaching for, my goodness, I don't even remember how many years, many, many years of coaching in opera. And I just started singing just a variety of music, which is what I'm doing now. And
Right.
I'm kind of an enigma, because there I am in some lounges belting out an aria.
Yeah, right. Oh my God. But here again, like I said, in just reading up on you and watching you all these years, here's where you got this versatility. You're able to do the opera. Now you're able to do Sarah Brightman, Celine Dion, Whitney Houston. You got it all going on. But
I
what's weird?
try.
Yeah, yeah. What's weird? What's fantastic?
Thank
That's
you.
the word. What's fantastic is I've heard you sing the opera. Yeah, I know you weren't that 7 days a week, French, Italiano, Spagnola. Yeah, but you knew the songs that you sing.
Oh, yes.
Unbelievable.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I just love music, and I
Yes.
love to sing all these styles, and that's just basically what it has been for me. I have joy when I do this. And I've been able to, and so many people say, oh, Diva, why aren't you doing the voice? Why don't you go on this? Why don't you go on that? Because I sing my songs, and then I leave and I'm a mom. And I can have a private life. And it's kind of the best of both worlds for me.
Sure. Steve,
You know?
when was it? Was it in the early 80s or in the mid 80s when you start to kind of take off to where we see you now, Diva Montell, this vocal singer?
You know
Where
what,
you're
Jen? No, I actually got into the staffing business, and I owned a staffing company for 17 years.
Oh, wow.
And there was a place across the street from my home at the time. And I went in there, and a gentleman at the place said, this girl can sing. And, long story short, they ended up hiring me. And so I was just singing on the weekends for a good long time. And then I sold the staffing company and had my daughter, who's 19 now. And I just went back to it because I wanted to be a full-time mom.
Sure.
And I'll tell you, it's only been 14 years, but boy, Saturday, Fridays and Saturdays went to Thursday, Friday, Saturday, went to Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I just started to make a full career of singing. And it's just been fantastic. It really
Oh
has.
my God. I would like to tell our audience that, to get a hold of Diva was very hard because just of your schedule, what you do every day and how you did this. The energy level is just amazing, just
Thank you.
amazing, over the years. I mean, I feel now in just watching you and perform and the performances that you make, let's say if it's at a restaurant or it's at the Arcada. I mean, I'm looking down the list of this. Okay. I mean, at one point you were with the Jersey Boys in Milwaukee,
Oh,
the
yes.
Bronx Wanderers, Michael Bolton. You opened up for Bolton in 2013. I mean, the legendary Drifters,
Yeah.
and of course Il Volo, the
Yeah.
Italian band. I mean, fantastic. I mean, what goes through your mind when you think of all these accomplishments,
Oh, thank you.
that you've had? Because these are accomplishments. I mean, I don't think they say, do we have anybody out there that wants to open up for the Volo here tonight?
That was such an experience. Those young men were just off the charts, sweet and talented like no tomorrow. I mean, that was really a great gift, and Ron Onesti, of course, is such
Oh,
a dear friend. I know he is your friend as well. I think
yes, yes.
a friend to all.
Yes, yes, and I have to mention something about him later in this about what he says about you. But
Oh, how nice.
I have to ask you. So after this staffing thing, now is this becomes like okay, this is going to be now the routine. You saw this coming, correct? This
I think I've
lifestyle.
always, well, the thing is that with the name Diva,
Yeah.
it's almost hard to dispute, and I love to sing so much. And it's very, it is something that is compelling for me, so even on my way places and doing things, I'm constantly singing, especially gospel. I love to sing songs about, the Holy Spirit and Jesus and that sort of thing. I'm very, very connected in that way.
Sure,
And
sure.
I've always felt like God, you can communicate so much easier, faster, and better when you're singing your prayers.
Right, right.
So I spend a lot of time doing that.
And I have to see, just by talking to you, the close knitness of your family, there was a religious theme always in this family, correct? I mean, there were
Always.
mom and dad were like, okay, listen, we're going to entertain, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, but we believe in this.
Always, always, always. Church was the center of our universe. Yes. My mother always, always said, if there's anything that I'm going to leave my children with, it's that they know God and that they have music in their hearts and souls.
Sure.
My mother would always say, that is your connection to God. Just sing your songs, sing your prayers, and that's what they did, so
Oh, for
we saw
sure, for
it.
sure.
Yeah.
Over the years, now that you've become this accomplished entertainer, I mean, there's not a place that I go to in Chicago that says, hey, Diva Montell is going to be here tonight, or Diva Montell is again at the theater. Diva Montell is there. Do you, do you find it amazing that, you could be, the phone could ring right now, or you could be getting a text that I don't know about, that someone's saying, hey, Diva, what are you doing March 17th, 2024? Do you get that? Where it's already down the road? Because I said to myself the other night, I says, am I ever going to be able to interview this girl?
Oh, and thank you so much. I've been wanting to do this. Your show is so amazing, and
Oh,
I'm
thank
so
you. Thank
honored
you.
to have been invited to here with you
Oh,
tonight.
thanks,
You
Steve.
are such a wonderful, wonderful man in person, and the show is so great. And yes, I'm actually halfway through the year for next year.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
matter of
halfway
fact,
through.
I don't know what website I was on yesterday because, studying again on you. And I says, wow, she's packed in. She's
Yeah.
packed in. Um, Dave, I got to ask you, I know we talk about the gospel, the opera, the singing of, let's say, of a Whitney Houston song, an R&B song. I've seen you do the Donna Summer thing at Taylor Street and all that.
Oh, yeah.
Is there that one, you seem to present a confidence in everything you do, but is there that one where you say, I got this, and I love doing this, or are you told when you go to a venue, are you told, or you kind of set up your own night? Okay, I'm going to sing this, this, and this without no one knowing what you're going to sing.
Well, it's interesting because it's the crowd that will really pretty much dictate to me what
Sure.
they want. And I've gotten pretty good at reading a crowd. And there will never be, and John, I'm telling you, there has never been a night where I can get away with not singing opera.
Really?
Yeah, people will come up even in a sports bar. I mean, it just doesn't matter.
Wow.
They will come up and they will say, hi, I understand that you can sing, opera. And I said, well, okay, that's sure. And they'll say, well, would you mind, can you just sing, your favorite? And so I will sing. And I think that is where my soul is, doing the Italian, romantic, Puccini, Verdi, just that type of opera. My soul it frees my soul. It's a much easier way for me. I can sing with ease when I sing opera. It's a
It's just
different place.
in a free flows. So no matter if you're at, let's say, a restaurant, or even like you said, a venue, like say the Arcada, you don't have a problem belting out the big one.
No.
Wow.
I have a dance band, as a matter of fact, and I told the boys, you know what, we have to do this because there is just no way, that's what people have come to know. And, so I give them what they want. There's never a time where I'll say, no, this isn't the appropriate venue or whatever. And as a matter of fact, after I do sing the opera, because it's a familiar piece, I'll do a lighter opera. It's not heavy, so
Right.
most people that are in the room will say, oh, that's familiar to me. Wow, we really liked that. Can you do something else? And then it will end up being a segment of just opera,
Sure,
but
sure.
they just like
That is amazing. At this stage of the career, Are you still finding ways to say, I'm Diva Montell. I've been accomplished. You have a great fan base, of course. But are you saying to yourself sometimes, God, I can do something else. I could take it to another level. Even at this age, shall we say the American saying, can you teach an old dog new tricks? Do
Mhm.
you find yourself always kind of improving the act or, what you're singing?
Always, always, always.
Great.
Always. I mean, and as a matter of fact, it's to the point where if I do become stale or if I'm slowing down in any way, I create another band or I'll add other people to it but the thing that I have found is again, the people that come out have come to really enjoy what, I've put out there. So if I do try to change it up too much, I get people saying, well, wait a minute, last time I was here, you did this whole Whitney thing and we really liked that. Can't you do that again tonight? So it's like, I say to people sometimes that follow me a lot, and I'll say, I know you've heard this song 3,000 times, but I have to sing it again tonight because somebody else is telling me to do it. So it is kind of a joke, because
Sure.
certain people just like certain things, and if they're coming out and they liked it the time before and it might have been 3 months ago and I don't do it this time, I am. But in answer to your question, yes, there is actually some very exciting things happening, believe it or not.
Please mention them,
I
please.
With my rock band,
Oh,
with the
okay.
rock band that is Hart and Pat Benatar,
Okay.
and my sister plays the role of Pat Benatar, and
Mention your sister's name, please.
oh, Jerry Maria Montalto.
The
Jerry
Jerry
Maria.
Maria. Yeah, I've seen
Yep,
her. I've seen.
Jerry
Yeah.
Maria. Yep, yep,
Yeah.
yep. And oh, we have such a great time with that band. It's
Oh,
just,
sure.
it's so much fun. Who would have thought, doing a tribute
Right.
to rock would
Sure.
actually be where it catches? And we are now being looked at by several agencies companies that will take us national. So that band is poised to become a national touring band.
Oh, wow. That will be fantastic. I'm
Yeah.
just going to do a little quick pause to tell our audience, Steve, what I'm doing here tonight. We are visiting tonight with the great Chicago area vocalist, Diva Montell, the only diva in Chicago. So if somebody wants to tell me on a post tomorrow, no, John, there's another diva. Prove it to me. So this is that we're visiting with Diva Montell. We're following this great career, and she has just put us up to speed on what is going on with her career and how it all happened, everything. Can I ask you something at this stage of the game? November 2nd, 2023. Does Diva Montell really still want to continue this passion?
Oh, yeah, more so than ever. More so than ever. As
Because you are very passionate.
I really am about everything,
Yes.
really anything that I do. I just there's such great passion in doing it. I mean, I'm passionate about being a mom. I'm passionate about, you know, keeping my house, looking good. I just I love life, and I love, especially I just love the connection that music makes with other souls,
Yes.
and that really is, it's like my soul feels connected to a different soul on a different level. So I almost like I yearn for that. And if I'm not singing for a very long period of time, like I'm sure I had surgery last year on
Yes,
my
I did hear that. I was
vocal.
going to get, yeah. And was it just a vocal disruption?
Well, it was a polyp, solely a polyp, but then I continued to sing. I tried to honor contracts, and then it did become worse, and there was a couple of nodules that came through on that too. So it was actually, there was no avoiding it. It had to be done. So for 5 months, I was silenced. So it really was scary, but it has come back, and I have no issues, and
Right.
I've recently gone, and everything is healed, and it just
And
really.
Diva, thank you for, I knew I was going to touch on it a little bit, but thank you for that you did stop and take the right rest, because all of us think we are indispensable.
Yes.
But yeah, it happens. And, but that is something about your pride and determination there that you wanted to honor,
Yeah.
contracts and everything else. So speaking of that, I mean, how many we'll go off. We'll feed off that on the positive note. How do
Yes.
you? How many are you busy every weekend of the year, or is that one weekend where we say, Diva, we don't need you, or does I don't see that.
You know what, John? Every weekend. Yes,
Yeah,
every weekend.
like I said, I looked down the pipe for this. It's crazy.
Yes, really every weekend. And if I'm working though, lately since my surgery, I have really tried to do where, of course there's going to be the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, sometimes Sunday, but I try not to do that too often. So just recently in the last, 6 months, I will take an occasional Saturday off and my family will be like, what is going on?
Yeah.
What is
Are you
she doing
sick?
home? It's true.
Yeah,
So
right.
so I have been, just trying to enjoy life a little bit because I tend to miss out on things
Oh, I
because
can imagine.
I'm always, singing.
Yeah,
But what's wonderful is they'll come to see me sing and then we'll make a party of wherever I am, in whichever venue that I'm at. So the people or my friends or my family will come to the venue
sure.
and enjoy the dinner that the venue has to offer. And I'll just sing for the hours that I sing and then I join them. So
Right,
it's
right.
nice.
Have you had to change your style in singing since this happened, or no?
No,
You
not at
went,
all.
and great that you went back at it
Yep.
instead of like we use the word as an ex-athlete here, babying it or something. You
Sure.
you went right at it, which
I
is great.
did, I did. I mean, I did take it slow, I did. However, I'm now to a point where I don't need to take it slow any longer and just being checked and having the doctor say, "Nope, you're good to go. There's no problem." And the more I'm singing, really the stronger it's becoming.
Sure, sure.
And they said it could take a year, even longer, so I still could be going through a little bit of the strengthening process as far as the healing. But for the most part, I mean, I've got the range back and I'm not tired, I can do 3 straight hours.
Wow.
They don't want me to,
So yeah, we
but
won't tell them. Well, there's no such thing as social media. We won't tell them.
but I do just because I love it and I just, there's too many songs to take a break. And so I just sing.
Right. I mean, for you, this has been like a second nature you have done your whole life and everything else. I mean, just over the years, I mean, with people that you've been trained by and everything else, were you always complimented that you had this great voice? I mean, did you always hear the accolades?
I never believed them, but
Oh, yeah, I just called you up for no reason. Yeah.
honest to God, I truly have to say that, and that may be one thing that perhaps having the name Diva has taught me humility, because I never ever wanted to be coined as the diva,
Sure.
that in the negative sense. So for me, people have, yes, they do, and I so appreciate the compliment and that sort of thing, but so often I'm like, well, all right, I'm glad they think I'm good.
Yeah. Oh my God. But
I
over the
just stay
years,
humble.
Deepa, have you been approached by a lot of different promoters in different states?
Oh yeah. Yes. But again, first thing was mom, being a mom,
Sure.
and
Yeah.
that was, to me, my
Sure.
daughter was brought up in a Catholic school and I only have one daughter. And for me, not that I, 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 I I chose to do this. I chose to be
Sure.
part of her schooling and her upbringing. And that to me, I just am so happy and proud. And she's such a great, great girl, and she's got quite a voice herself,
I can
you know.
imagine
Yeah.
coming from the background of the family, of course, the genes of your genes. I got to ask you something because we've all been around a lot of the same people in our lifetime. Are you approached by some of the younger set that's coming into the vocal here in Chicago and Illinois? Are you approached like, hey, Diva, can you tell me this? Are you, kind of used as the crutch for experience?
Well, yes. As a matter of fact, many, many people will want coaching. And, you know, I'm not really a teacher, a vocal
Right.
teacher, but, yes, I have been asked to coach here and there. And, you know, if my schedule allows, I will. I do have, you know, lots and lots of different, methods that I use, and especially with the people that I'm with in the bands, if I'm doing, if I'm working along with another vocalist or whatever,
Sure.
we do take time out to make sure that we vocalize before, and I try to teach them how to work with their falsetto,
Got
so
it.
that they're not hurting their vocals too much, you
Sure.
know.
Sure.
And you know, that the other thing too is, I mean, no alcohol when you're drinking. You really, really need your vocal cords to be
I mean,
very
when you are
hydrated.
singing, there's no drinking.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
sure. Because
yeah,
that's got to be a huge strain
yes.
on the voice, correct?
Yes.
I think a lot of people think it helps the voice, but it really doesn't in the long run.
Well, you know, it sometimes calms the nerves for a lot of
Right?
singers. And, you know, my father drank all through his career, and he
Sure.
smoked cigarettes.
Yeah.
Cigarettes.
Right.
I know. But he was just one of the lucky ones, you know. And I do
Sure.
know of many, many others, and they're still singing, and they're singing beautifully,
Sure.
you know.
Sure.
But for me, you know, my voice, my throat was sensitive to that, so I can't,
You know, I can imagine.
yeah, yeah. And I try when I'm working with other singers, you know, to make sure that they just keep hydrated during song. You can afterwards, you can have your wine, you can do whatever you want to do after. But when you're singing, while you're singing, you really do need to keep your vocal cords hydrated.
I got to bring two things up, and then we're going to play a game.
Okay.
It's a game of 5 questions, but I really enjoy this thing you're doing with a gentleman named George Holmes.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
How is that combination? And do you feel over this time there's a chemistry with him?
Oh my gosh, he's such a dear friend, John. He's
Very
so,
nice.
so near and dear to me. He is a pastor.
Yes.
So he's just, you know, got so much as far as his offering to me through the Holy Spirit. And, you know, we've just become just very, very like brother and sister, honestly. It is just a
Yes.
beautiful
And
connection.
and I gotta tell you, Dee, with you know, I'm the outsider looking in, the fan. When I see the two of you, you know, there's that passion for the music.
Yeah.
You know, that you both have this chemistry like two athletes that
Yeah.
can play together. It just really, that's why I was hoping that you didn't mind me bringing that up. I mean,
No,
that's,
it works. It definitely works.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
that is just something fantastic. All right,
Thank you.
we are going to play a game of 5 questions, meaning you got to answer these questions. If you don't want to answer them, you'll tell me, John, blankety blanket out of here. But they're easy questions, and then I'm going to leave you with a beautiful comment at the end here.
Okay.
So here's our first question. Besides Conchetta and Freddie, when you saw maybe somebody on TV or maybe somebody in the neighborhood or just somebody, who was that early mentor besides mom and dad that you says, I can do this. I want to be like her, or I want to be like him?
I love Barbara Streisand.
Oh, beautiful.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, I loved her acting, and I just loved her voice. So besides Renata Tebaldi, which was my opera
Yes, the
person,
opera one that you had mentioned.
yep. And that's why there's that dichotomy, you know, there's that passion for the opera, but then there is that Barbara Streisand that I would endlessly sit in my room and just sing her songs.
What a great singer that sometimes I think, you know, we forget about her, about movie roles, but another talented lady that could do a lot of things.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
without a doubt. Yeah.
Huge influence. Really
Oh, yeah.
huge.
I can
Yeah.
imagine.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Second question. Favorite movie you can watch about 200 times and not get bored?
Oh my goodness.
I'll give you one or two.
Oh my gosh. I mean, there's a beautiful movie called Return to Me.
I
written by
know.
Bonnie
That's
Hunt.
Christopher Reeve.
Love that. Well, no, that's Somewhere in Time.
Oh, Somewhere in Time.
Oh
That's
my
right. I got the
gosh.
wrong one.
That's another one. Oh my
Yes.
gosh.
With Jane Seymour.
Jane Seymour, Christopher Reeves. Absolutely amazing. Yes, yes, yes.
So tell me a
But
little bit about Return in Time.
Return to Me is
Return to Me.
absolutely, it's just a beautiful story that was written by Bonnie Hunt, and it kind of has a little bit of an Italian twist to it. And it's about a gentleman who loses his wife in a car accident, and her heart ends up being transplanted in another lady, and he ends up meeting this lady by chance, and they fall in love, and not even knowing that his wife's heart was transplanted. And there's a part of this movie that says, you know, the gentleman said to, because it's freaky. I mean, you know, when you think
Sure.
about, oh my God, I'm dating somebody that's got my wife's heart in
Sure.
her, you know.
Wow.
And the gentleman said, you know, maybe her heart was always meant to be with you.
Wow. And I got to tell you, Deep, I screwed up the title with you, but this is something I might have to do the Netflix over the weekend.
You
You know,
must. It's such
yeah,
a beautiful movie. You'll love it.
fantastic. I'm glad you brought it up.
Yeah.
Okay. Since I'm doing the interview tonight, but if you could interview someone, who would it be? And of course, it can't be me. Who would it be?
I have to be honest, I would really, really like to meet Sarah Brightman.
Okay, I see that here on your list of singers.
Yeah, yeah, I really would. She's another person. She's a pop opera crossover singer, and I've followed her career, and you know, so much of you know, where I've, you know, wanted to go kind of emulates her, because you know, she has that ability to sing a little bit less opera, a little
Sure.
bit more of the pop opera crossover. Her style is just beautiful. It's so it's so free and unique. She just has such a unique way of singing.
That unique style. Yes.
Yes, the
You bring her
style.
up in a lot of your things here.
I do. I do.
And a lady by the name of Wilson you brought up too, I think.
Ann Wilson, of
Ann
course.
Wilson.
Ann
Yes.
Wilson. Yeah, yep, yep.
Fantastic.
Yeah, the two of them, absolutely. I've seen a lot of interviews of Ann Wilson. I've studied her as well, but you don't see much with Sarah Brightman. She's
Right.
very private, and I understand she's quite ill right now as well.
Okay.
Yeah, she has
But
a
this would be your
neurological.
go-to for that interview,
She
right?
would be the person I'd love to meet and talk to. Yeah, yeah.
All right. Here's our fourth question. The Diva Montell that I like, because I've watched you at the Taylor Street. I've watched you, of course, in the heyday when we were going to that club. I'm an old R&B disco guy, and I like when Diva is singing those songs.
Love it.
What gets Diva Montell going? What's that song that makes her move to what John Conenna likes?
Oh gosh, you know, the disco songs, I just absolutely love singing those disco songs. I mean, really, I will do everything from Donna Summer to Evelyn Champagne King.
Oh yeah, I've
Oh
been
my
thinking
gosh,
about you.
all those old beautiful
Yeah.
disco songs, and you know, Gloria Gaynor.
Well, you know, I got to tell you, I would give my left arm this weekend to see you and Gaynor on stage. She's coming to the Plains this week.
I know,
I
Regina
would like to
Karma.
see that.
Regina Karma's opening for her. I
Oh,
love
well,
Regina.
I would love to see you and her. That would be great.
Thank you. Oh, that would have been nice.
Yeah, oh, God. And I heard Gloria Gaynor is 81 years old.
She looks amazing.
Amazing. Yeah.
Doesn't she?
Yes.
Wow.
Fantastic. So
Well, they say 50 is the new 30 now anyway. So.
yeah. No, we keep going up and up here. Oh God. Okay, last one. Before I go into this little thing, I'm going to tell you about someone, what they said about you. What's left for Diva Montell? Since what is this it, or we're going to see more of this great lady?
Oh, okay. I love you too. Where are you going?
Sorry, I'm Emily. I'm the daughter.
No, Emily, thank you for coming on. You got a great mom, and it was nice meeting you.
Oh, of course. Mwah. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna go. I love you.
Okay, where are you going?
I'm picking up Nicole.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
No, hey, family first.
Oh my gosh, John, I'm just tipping the edge right now, and it's going to come down this way, and we're just going to go for it. But I am so excited. I feel like I've just begun. Absolutely. There's just so many things to look forward to. I have so much energy, and I'm just, you know, and the thing is, which is good, you know, is I feel great, and I have the wisdom to go along with it. So, you know, I'm not going to be easily manipulated, because it's a tough business.
Okay,
It's a
without
very tough business.
question. without
Yes,
question. Yeah, I mean,
yes.
it's like you said, you wouldn't be doing this every weekend. You're pounding that pavement, but you're pounding that pavement with passion. I noticed that.
Absolutely,
I'm
absolutely.
gonna leave you with this from this gentleman that we kind of mentioned early on here in this interview tonight. Here's what he said about you. She sings with power, yet redeeming grace. She sings with a tremendous range, yet she can sing the most delicate of songs like an angel from heaven. She will be remembered as one of the truly great voices of our time. I am sincere when I say Diva Montell is at the top of my list of go-to entertainers, and that comes from our guy here in Illinois,
Oh,
John
yeah.
Onesti.
Mr. Onesti.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I mean, you talk again, the excitement, my beard's coming out. This, I mean, is just what a compliment to you. And I
Yeah,
gotta tell you
yeah.
something.
Thank you.
Just you are fantastic. The entertainment. I've seen you sing so many different places. Keep doing what you're doing because you got it all going on, lady.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so grateful. This
Yeah,
has been so much fun. Thank you.
yeah, this was great. And we're gonna get this out to our audience. And you gotta promise me one thing. We kind of just scratched the surface here tonight, but we're gonna do a part 2.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Love it. I would love it.
because you're just keep working here. You're keep doing what you're doing.
Yes, I'll have a whole different story for you next time.
For sure. Dave, great seeing you. Great
You
seeing you.
too. Thank you so much for having me.
You got it. Anytime, and we will talk soon.
Excellent. God
Good
bless.
night, everyone.
Buonanotte. Buonanotte.
Buonanotte.